Preparing for the draft was a dream of a lifetime. I wanted my family to be there with me, you know what I mean, to see what it's like to fulfill your dream. To be in the same conversation as a Heisman, that's like a huge accomplishment. And as a kid, that's something that you always dreamt about. As a guy who never touched the ball on offense, I had the most all-purpose yards on the LSU team that year. And that was just all off of returns.
Which is insane.
At the bar, just hanging out, just watching everybody. He tapped me. He's like, "I'm gonna be better than you." I said, "Okay, I like that." I said, "You know what? I want you to be better than me." Because for me, my whole mindset was, I want to pave the way for the next guy.
We're living in a good old days. Take a look around. Ain't it funny how feels like we're in a good old days.
Welcome back to Glory Days, an Almost Friday Media original. I'm Johnny Manziel. Today we have one of LSU's finest, an all-pro, one of the best cornerbacks in NFL or college levels of all time. Please welcome to the show, Patrick Peterson. Awesome to have you here. Appreciate you coming on, obviously. How's life these days? What's going on? What's new in the world of Patrick P?
Man, life is great, man. Trying to be the best dad that I can be for my girls, best husband I could be for my wife, and then just enjoying the time of not having to deal with, I guess, not stress, having to, game plan and all of that stuff. It's a little easier now, waking up without the aches and things like that. So golfing is something that's very central to me. Fishing, so traveling now, so trying to get on TV, someone's network next year. So just trying to make my rounds, man.
Where you living at these days?
I live in Georgia.
Here in Georgia?
Yep.
You're away from the Scottsdale life,
Yeah, I had to get up out of the Scottsdale life, man. Wanted to be a little closer to the family. I'm from Florida. My wife's from New Orleans, so wanted to be a little bit closer to the family to be able to spend the holidays with them, so they can, come to the kids' birthdays and things like that.
So as we get into the career a little bit, obviously, ended up choosing LSU, for you, highly rated recruit as it gets, Army All-American, going to that game. How did that decision come about? Was it always LSU? Was it, were you looking at other places?
LSU came in late. I first committed to Miami because that was like my childhood team. Just always remember the Sean Taylors, the Frank Gores, the Santana Moss, the Ken Dorseys. So I was always a UN fan. And once I got the letter when it was time for me to commit somewhere, that was my first commitment. Like, I'm going to Miami. Then, the program ended up falling off a cliff. Wasn't the same Miami that I grew up watching. And then I kind of opened up my recruitment availability again to other schools to start to recruit me. So LSU didn't recruit me until I want to say October.
Late.
Yeah, because the first game I went to when they played Auburn, Demetrius Byrd made the famous catch. They went for it 4th and 3. And he made the no, you can't see me celebration. So I was at that game. I was like, this place is bizarre, man. Just the atmosphere, the culture, how nice the people was. And then the recruitment started going on. Coach Earl Lane, who was the defensive line coach at the time, he was recruiting me. He was like, "Man, I'm telling you, Patrick, we really need you. The whole secondary is leaving. You can be like our first Jim Thorpe winner here." And I'm buying into it. I'm like, that sounds pretty sweet, to be the first to do something at an institution. So I ended up choosing LSU. I wanted to be a trendsetter. That was always my mindset. And I went there and fulfilled all my goals I set up for myself.
When you got there, obviously as a freshman, did you feel like you were going to go in there and play 13 games as a true freshman? Did you feel like you were going to come in and play right away?
Yeah. When that was my goal, and I knew that I had the ability to do that. I just needed the opportunity. And the opportunity came against Auburn my freshman year. Jai Eugene was a starting corner at the time. He was a junior. And he was having a tough game. Chris Hawkins was the other corner. And he was having a rough game. And Corey Raymond, who's the secondary coach there now, he was like, "All right, young fella, I think it's time for you to grow up." And that was my first game. I was playing every game up until that point. But after that game, that's when I got validated.
Yep.
And I was a starter from the rest of the season.
You obviously had a crazy, coach in Les Miles.
Yeah.
How was it playing for him? I mean, what we see from the outside looking in is just, a guy who obviously has an unbelievably competitive spirit, but just a different cat in his own right too.
Yeah, man. What you guys saw that was him each and every day, man. He had some of the best pregame speeches. We used to be in team meetings, and coach would come in there and just say a word, and guys would look around like, what the hell did coach just say? Is that even a word? He'll just say something completely off the wall. But that was him every day, man. Like you said, he's a fierce competitor, but at the same time, he had a lighter side, a sense of humor, a side that he liked to see people laugh. And, I think that was one of the things that made him very unique, because he was an offensive lineman, mindset type of guy, but he also understood, what it means to have a sense of humor in the locker room and as a head coach. You know what I mean? So he did a great job of that, man, to his antics of eating grass, to pounding on his chest and, biting his bottom lip, things like that while he's on TV, to the trick plays that comes out of the yin-yang when you don't expect it. So that was him each and every day.
It got to be nice to be able to have a coach like that who, keeps it fun, keeps it lively, especially for a locker room. The season turns into such a grind at times that, to have a guy like that where, you get the same consistency every day, but, he still brings it. The trick plays and the things that he does and just the ability to gamble and stuff has to feel great from a, player's perspective of, you're trying to go out and win every single game, no matter what it is, no matter what the cost.
And the beauty of it too, because you've been in locker rooms, you've been a part of game plans. Like, special team coaches go over trick plays all the time.
Yep.
But one thing that we know, when a trick play was being put in with Les Miles, it was being ran. It was being ran.
As a kid from Florida, what do you think the biggest difference was as you get to Baton Rouge? Was there a little bit of a time it took you to get acclimated there, or was it pretty seamless for you?
No, it was pretty seamless for me, because when I got there, I began to realize that I'm around a lot of guys that have the same mindset as me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So when I got there, they took me in like I was one of their own, because at that time when I was there, the team was just full of guys from Louisiana and Texas. So it wasn't many guys from Florida. It was like maybe 4 of us, so that was the beauty. And I think that's what made it comfortable for me to choose LSU. Going to the recruiting, on my recruiting trip, seeing the guys, seeing how much they love the game, how much they love to win, how much they love to compete, to make each other better. I was like, these are the guys I need to be around, because they're like-minded like me.
Yeah, that's what you want to surround yourself with,
no doubt about it, so it made it very easy.
After you play a lot your freshman year, sophomore year is really the time you start to take off and emerge as one of those guys in the SEC. At that time you're matching up. You got guys in the SEC. You got AJ Green, Julio. Was there a player in college that you just couldn't wait to go against?
Both of those guys.
Yeah.
Just because Coach John Chavis, he became our defense coordinator my sophomore year, and he had Eric Berry, who won the Jim Thorpe the year before. So it was like, Patrick, if you want to start to be recognized, everybody know who you are, but if you want to start to be recognized and have a household name, I want to put you on these guys, these matchups. I was like, shit, coach, I couldn't wait. I've been waiting for you to assign me to that to those matchups. So and we all knew that we was playing Julio Jones every year, but we never played Georgia every year. So the first matchup that season came against AJ Green between the hedges, because we went down there the year before. Man, they beat our head in. I think they put 58 points on us. I can't even remember our court Hatcher. I think he I can't remember his first name. But anyway, he broke the SEC record for pick sixes. The first play of the game was a pick six. And that's when you knew it was going to be all bad.
When a day starts off that with a pick six, it's a long one.
So my freshman year, they just embarrassed us at home. So now the next year we got to go in between the hedges. It's a big game. Les Miles, he's pissed because the year we got blown out, that's the year they came off the championship. So it's kind of like a down year. We got beat by a lot of people that year, my freshman year. But anywho, this was a very big game for us. So Coach Shea was like, man, Patrick, here's your time. Remember what we talked about at the beginning of the year? Here's that matchup. So ended up going into that matchup, played pretty good. Should have had 2 interceptions. I can't remember the exact stats, but I feel like I felt that I really, really held my own against Julio Jones. I mean, not Julio Jones, AJ Green. And then 2 weeks after that, or 3 weeks after that, we play Alabama. And this is probably my best game I've ever played in my college career. Because now I'm super hyped. You know, I had a good game against AJ Green. Now Julio Jones, night 3:30 game, CBS in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and I hold Julio Jones to that game, 7 targets, 0 catches. The play I end up getting out of the game because we was up at that time. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was up by like 2 points or maybe 3 points. He ended up going for a 68-yard screen. So now our quarterback goes out there. I believe we get a 3 and out. So now it's like 4 minutes left in the game. So now the defense have to get a stop. Like we need a stop. So it comes down to like 3rd and 7, and we know they have to throw the ball. I'm matched up on Julio. The first year that instant replay was allowed in college football.
Yeah.
Drag my feet, you see. So it was incomplete. That's still a famous play.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I couldn't believe they didn't get it right. If they didn't, I mean, by the time that you catch it, I think you got 1 foot in bounds,
Right.
and you get the next one.
Yeah, so that was the best game I've ever played in college football.
How was it playing? You know, obviously I played in the SEC as well. Got a chance to go to Tiger Stadium, to go to Death Valley a little bit. You know, talk about that place and how, you know, special it is for you guys to be able to have that, you know, as an advantage in your pocket every season, every home game.
Man, like you said, man, that place is special. I know you was a visitor, but the atmosphere there is unmatched, man. Like I haven't played in the 12th man, that stadium, but I was on a recruiting trip when who was the coach? He was at Green Bay.
Mike Sherman.
Yeah, Mike Sherman was the coach at the time. But the atmosphere is unmatched, man. Just the pure enjoyment that the fans have of watching football there is unbelievable. The band gets the visitor teams excited.
Yeah.
To having the live tiger rolling through the stadium.
It's not something you see all the time. For sure.
You know what I mean? And a night game, because you played in a night game
I played
before,
a
right?
night game, yeah.
The night games under the lights there in Death Valley, man, I'm telling you, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it now because it's just that special, man.
It feels like when you leave and you go to the NFL, I don't know if you ever even get like an experience or environment that's as great as that. Is something like that or a SEC.
It's one place close, and you probably can contest to this, but it's 2 places: to Seattle and Minnesota.
Yeah,
with the skull.
Seattle's pretty crazy.
Yes,
Seattle's pretty crazy. You know, for as far as, you know, being in college, what was the hardest place you guys would have to go on the road for a visiting stadium?
The hardest place, I'll probably have to say the Swamp.
Yeah.
The Swamp was tough just because the fans are like right there on you.
you.
You know what I mean? And during that time too, we was playing against Tim Tebow, so they was rolling at the time. So it was really, really tough to come out of there with a win. Only won one time in that stadium. I think only beat Florida once as well while my time in college. But that was probably the toughest place.
You know, talking about those times, you know, this is kind of under the era where, you know, Bama was kind of coming into their own and rolling into a little bit of a dynasty. You know, what was it like playing against those guys in the rival? I mean, it's a real LSU-Bama rivalry you guys had during those days.
Man, it was fun, man, because you always knew when it was Bama week. You know what I mean?
Sure you do. For sure you do.
You always knew when it was Bama week, man, and guys really took that with pride just because, like, we all knew that it's NFL caliber guys that's going to be on the football field. We knew that we was going to get their best shot. They knew that they was going to get our best shot, and it was going to be 9 times out of 10 a game for the ages. You know what I mean? Every single time that we had an opportunity to suit up, it was a game for the ages, man. And Coach Miles and Coach Saban, you know, with the history that Saban had with LSU, it just made that rivalry that much more significant and bigger than what it has been. You know what I mean? And then with him going over there winning all the championships that he won, it just made it the rivalry that much bigger because that's what we had, I believe.
Yeah. In junior year, you start popping up in the Heisman conversation a little bit as a dark horse. Did you think that was something that you would maybe be able to have the reality to do? It's tough as a defensive player, obviously, but
yeah, Johnny. To be honest with you, no, because I knew that I would never have the opportunity to play offense.
Yeah,
and after week 3, teams stopped kicking the ball to me, so I knew that was going to be my best opportunity.
And if you're not getting the rock as a returner, it's going to
exactly.
be even tougher.
So it was going to be super tough for me, but it was fun and it was awesome to hear my name in the conversations because as a kid, as a football junkie, to be in the same conversation as a Heisman or to be aside with that name, that's like a huge accomplishment. And as a kid, that's something that you always dreamt about, even if you're not an offensive guy.
Football season is back, and Underdog wants to make it a lot more exciting with bonus cash and a free pick. Join the millions of fans who played on Underdog last year with their pick'em game. You could win up to 1,000 times your money by making sports picks. It's time to turn those takes into cash by going higher or lower on player stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and plenty more to choose from. Submit entries including NFL, college football, or mix and match across your other favorite sports to win big. Here are my money picks of this week. Isaiah Pacheco higher than 56.5 rushing yards, coming back from an injury against a Cleveland team who's been, iffy against the run a little bit this year. My next 2 picks, I'm going higher on the 2 best playing quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Higher on Josh Allen, 253.5, and higher on Lamar Jackson, 224.5 against a Giants team that is really, really struggling. Underdog is available in 30-plus states, including California, Florida, Texas, and even Canada. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now and deposit using promo code Johnny to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick.
As a returner, how did you kind of get into that role? Was this something that you wanted to do? Was it something they came up to you, or were you pushing for this from the second you really kind of got on campus?
Man, yeah, I was pushing for it for this the time I got on campus, but we had a guy named Trenton Holiday.
Beast.
So
Beast.
It was going to be very tough trying to outbeat him. I had to wait my turn, and it came at the right time, man. It really did. Everything in my college career just kind of all came to like a full circle. It kind of just, like each year you can just see the role was expanding year after year, and I was getting more comfortable. The confidence level was growing out of the roof. The leadership skills started to build. So then you started to see guys start to follow that. You know what I mean? So then I had to take that to heart. Like, man, I got to lead by an example each and every day. You know what I mean? So that's what made college fun.
You finished that year, you won the Jim Thorpe and the Bednarik Award, first team All-SEC, unanimous All-American. Just really an unbelievable way to kind of put a cap on everything for real. Like, did you feel maybe at all that you had done like enough to even get into that Heisman, maybe make it to New York type of thing?
I thought I did, man, because if you go back and look at it as well, as a guy who never touched the ball on offense, I had the most all-purpose yards on the LSU team that year.
Yeah.
Without touching the ball on not having an offensive snap. I think I had like 1,600 yards. And that was just all off of returns.
Which is insane.
And interceptions. You know what I mean? So I was a little hurt that I didn't get the recognition going, as the season started to go on, because I felt like I had a couple Heisman moments. I had an opportunity to play against Julio Jones. Didn't have any big returns in that game because Alabama was really good at positioning the ball when they punted it. So they was pretty much bottling me up on the sideline each and every
everything.
So it was tough getting out of there. So it was during that time I was a little upset that I didn't get the recognition as the season went on, but I was very grateful to do something that only 2 people at the time in college football did, which was Charles Wilson, which was win the Jim Thorpe and the Bednarik in the same year.
Which is good company for sure. Do you watch much college football this year? You see, obviously, what Travis Hunter has been doing in Colorado, a guy that's getting that opportunity to play, both ways and shine.
Yeah, he has my Heisman vote 100% because, one, we never seen that before. A guy to play 140-plus snaps a game, to be damn near leading the team in receiving yards and interceptions. Like, that's just something that we never, ever seen before. Like, we always wanted to do, like, that's Little League type stuff.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Pop Warner stuff.
You're right. And he's doing it on a collegiate level, at a high level. You know, so in my opinion, there's no question that he should be the Heisman, because this is something that we never, ever seen. And quite frankly, I don't think we will ever see it. And if we do it, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, for sure. You know, as you talked a little bit about, you know, getting into that role of being a leader and, you know, bringing that intensity every day, you guys get, you know, as your junior season, you get a guy like Tyrann Mathieu who comes in. You know, what were your original thoughts on him when he came in? Do you think he had that, you know, right away? Did you see that in him?
Yeah.
That dog?
Yeah, 100%. And it was even sooner than that. When he came on his recruiting trip, I was his host. And never watch any highlights of the recruits that I get, and they always just tell me that, you know, get them to come here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take them out,
You're
show
right.
them a good time, get them to
with
come.
Yeah, get them to come here. So, in that time when we was going out hanging out, only thing that he was talking about was football. It's the only thing that he was talking about, football, man. How you, like, you know, like, what's the process throughout practice? Like, what's the game like? You know what I mean? That's all he wanted to talk about was ball. And I'll never forget, we was in Freddy's, if I'm not mistaken. We in Tigerland. We just at the bar, just, you know, just hanging out, just watching everybody. And he whispered in my ear, he tapped me. He's like, I'm gonna be better than you. I said, okay, I like that. I said, you know what? I want you to be better than me, because for me, my whole mindset was, I want to pave the way for the next guys. Like, I want to show them how to get it done, especially if they have the ability to get it done.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, I'm all in. I'm all for it. I want you to be better than me. And he was one of those guys that had a very, very unique skill set, man. And he was a ball magnet. He was just a complete football player. Like, he was just a ball player. You can put him anywhere. You can put his ass at D tackle. He gonna find a way to win.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, passing him, ended up with number 7, passing the jersey number down to him a little bit. You know, he obviously probably had to come to you, say something about it a little bit, of course.
Yeah, man. You know, people may not know this, but all the credit goes to Tyrann, to be honest with you, with the 7 being passed down, because he called me. I'll never forget. It was in the springtime. I was working out. He texted me. He was like, bro, what you doing? I was like, yeah, I just got done working. I said, can you talk? I was like, yeah, bet, hit me up. So he called me. He was like, man, big bro, man, you just know how much I appreciate what you've done for me. You know how much love I got for you, but dog, it would be an honor if I rock number 7 this year. I was like, hell yeah, like, you know, put on, you know what I mean? And from that point on, that's when it kind of became a thing of passing it down to, like, the best player on the team. You know, so it really came, I mean, I know what I did, what I had to do in the number 7, but it started with him.
Which, I mean, it's taken on a little bit of a life of its
Right,
own
exactly.
sense. I think, you know, he did a great job with it after that. It was, you know, you guys had so many similarities as far as just attacking the ball and just, you know, being everywhere on the field that you needed to be on the defensive side of the ball. Anytime you see that number from an LSU guy, immediately flashes you back to it. You know, if you had to choose one favorite memory from your time at LSU, whether it be on the field or off the field, what do you think it would be?
Man, seeing my wife on my recruiting trip.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw my wife on my recruiting trip. She was working in the building, like one of the girls that get the itinerary ready for the recruits and all that stuff. And I was like, damn, who was that? And from that point on, man, I kid you not, Johnny, I said, boy, if I come here, I'm going to find her. And she going to be my girl. And it took me 2 years to find her, but I ended up finding her my sophomore year. And we've been stuck by each other's hips since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's the way it should be.
Before we move on, just because you lit up while you spoke about it, but where did you meet your wife sophomore year?
Yeah, in the club. And I think it was in Freddy's too. Because that was like the hang.
Freddy's is a spot where that magic kind of happened.
Freddy's and I cannot remember the one across the street from Freddy's, but yeah, I met her. I saw her in Freddy's. She was sitting down with her girls, and crazy enough, I didn't even go up to talk to her because she was with the girls, so I didn't want her to shoot me down in front of her girls. I'm like, hell no, this ain't happening. So I'm gonna wait till she probably walk away or whatnot. my boy Craig knew her friend. So I went to the restroom. I come back. They gone. I'm like, Craig, where'd they go? What happened? He's like, man, I don't know, man. They ghosted, man. They gone. So Craig knew the friend, got the number. I ended up getting the number, and the rest is history.
How long you guys been together for now?
Since 2009, we've been together, and we've been married for 12 years.
Sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be 13 in June.
Congrats. Yeah. How do you feel Coach Miles and that program prepared you for the NFL and getting ready for the next level?
Man, tremendously, man. Even I go behind Coach Miles and say Coach Tommy Moffitt.
Yeah.
Our strength and conditioning coach. Man, that dude was a freaking drill sergeant. Didn't take any can I curse?
Yeah, of course.
Oh. He didn't take any shit. Like, he was one of those guys I'll never forget. Stephen Ridley. You know Stephen Ridley. Stephen Ridley came late, and this is my freshman year. And this is my first interaction seeing Coach Moffitt, like, just completely lose his shit. So this is our first workout. The freshmen come in there after they win the championship. I believe it was June. It was June because all the freshmen just got on campus. So now the sophomores happen to work out with the freshmen as well. So everybody get in there. Coach Moffitt started talking. And Stephen Ridley just walks around the corner, just casually smiling, happy to be back. Coach Moffitt goes, "Hey, Stephen, what are you doing in here?" He said, "Coach, you said come back in June." He said, "Get your ass out of here. There's another one next year." So, like, seeing that, I was like, this dude is crazy.
It takes one of those crazy strength and conditioning coaches to really get, a group of 100+ guys to really buy in. One that doesn't take any shit.
No doubt about it. And then, like, our first conditioning test, 110s, I know you're very familiar with that. Bro, we ran 32 of them.
Yep.
I'm like, 32 110s. First of all, you guys said we were supposed to just run 24, but 26 or something like that. How the hell we get to 32? And then that's when I realized you can't be leaning down. You can't be on your knees.
Bending over, nothing.
Oh, man. They counted everything. So as freshmen, they didn't tell us that. So everybody was just running. So every time somebody bent down or kneeled down or leaned on someone, that was an extra one. So that's how we end up getting up to 32.
Damn. You remember you're a freshman, you don't even really know what's going on. Exactly. You're just trying to literally survive to these workouts. Because you remember the freshmen
running it by themselves.
Yep.
The upperclassmen, they doing it maybe in the afternoon. Yeah, doing it in the afternoon. The freshmen got to do it in the morning. So they telling us that we got to make it in a certain time. Everybody's doing that, but they did not tell us that we couldn't bend over, lean on anyone or anything like that. So that's how we got to 32.
Finding out the hard way for sure. Mm-hmm. So you leave LSU, what was the draft experience like? Did you feel like, you had an idea where you're going? You were obviously excited about taking that next step to the next level, but, talk a little bit about that and how that was for you.
Man, preparing for the draft was a dream of a lifetime. It's something that I always thought I would be in a position to do. And, and if I was, I wanted my family to be there with me, you know what I mean? To see, what it's like to fulfill your dream. You know what I mean? And I was in a very, very weird situation because when I got drafted, that's the year of the lockout. So that was a year that, a lot of guys weren't even going to Radio City or going to the draft because I forget what the problem was, why I believe they was not going to air it or something like that. I can't remember what the whole debacle was, why guys was not going, but when I got the opportunity, I'm like, hell no, man, I'm about to go. Yeah, shoot, it can just be me and my family in Radio City. I'm going to hear my name called. I'm walking across that stage. So, being in New York, not really having an idea on where I would go because I knew I wasn't going to be number one because Carolina needed a quarterback.
Yeah,
it was a really big question mark with Buffalo. I can't remember who they had at their as their corners, but I never had no conversations with Buffalo. Then can't remember who was 3. Then 4 was Cincinnati, and I thought I was going to go to Cincinnati because me and Cincinnati was having a really, really good conversation, really, really good interactions. I went there a couple times. They came to have a private workout. So I really thought San Francisco and Cincinnati, that's where I thought I would end up at one of those places. And San Francisco was number 7. Never had a conversation with the Arizona Cardinals. Not one conversation with Arizona Cardinals. So that one came completely out of the left field when I got that 602 phone call because, like I said, I never saw that number before. So when I got the number, the phone call, because A.J. Green, he was sitting like right behind me. So he had left. As soon as he left, my phone rings. I'm like, 602. I hit my mom, like, 602. I'm like, I don't know that area code. Because at the time when the call ID, it didn't say at the bottom like Arizona or whatever, the area code is. So pick up the phone. Hey, hello? This is Patrick? Yeah, this is he. It's Ken Wisenhunt. He's like, hey, are you ready to be Arizona Cardinal? I'm like, yeah, man, count me in. He was like, man, we thought you was a very special player. We're expecting a lot out of you, similar to what you did in college. Traveling with number one guys, returning punts, and we're just really, really excited to have you. So that went from there. Went to Arizona the next day. My boy Larry Fitzgerald and Adrian Wilson pick up me and my girlfriend at the time because we wasn't married yet, but pick up me and my girlfriend, well, my wife now, from the airport, go to the facility, do all the the signing stuff. Then I had to go back home because, like I said, it was during a lockout. So that was kind of like a little dead period in a weird period for me because after the draft, you typically report to your team.
Yep.
And that wasn't the case. So I had to go back to Florida and just try to find a regiment that worked with me for whenever they say we can resume playing.
You kind of almost got to do that little OTA type of stuff yourself for the most part to get ready.
But it was also tough because, hell, I never been in the NFL before.
Yeah, of course.
you know what I mean? But I was very blessed, though, to have relatives in the NFL. So Brian McFadden, he was still in the league, so I was working out with him awful lot.
Cool. So you got a chance to at least get somebody to walk
taste of it
a little bit, walk you through it.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, come
on. My question would be to you, because you had a lot of success in college football coming into the NFL. What was your turning point? Because I try to tell these young guys now, what was your turning point to you when you realized that you could not rely on your athletic ability as much as you did when you first, or as much as you did in college?
Yeah, I think more than anything, when the talent level goes up like it does in the NFL, and the plays that you see yourself making in college, and you go and try to replicate and do the same thing in the NFL, it's just not going to happen, especially from a quarterback position, right? The D-line is too fast. The scheme and the way that the NFL is on defense is just too good to be able to let missed tackles or just especially missed sacks or little things, you're not evading the rush like that. So, I think after my first year that I had in the league, really, how you were talking earlier about, how do you know on defense that this formation is going to come to be this or this play, know where it's going to go. That's what the league, I feel like, is all about. And that's the part that, I didn't have to do that in college because we ran pretty much pure progression across stuff. It didn't really matter what kind of coverages were going on. And it's just such a more detailed, oriented league, and every little minute thing really matters. And just, I wish I would have, dove into that side of the game a little bit more. And just, I think it takes time to be able to humble yourself and really, coming off such a good, high profile, just amazing college football career, you expect as a player that you are to come into the next level and be able just to, have success.
Right.
And, it's not always that way. And I think everybody's story kind of goes the way that it's supposed to go. But, the guys who really show out and shine are the guys who put in that work and put in the details. And, that was something I just didn't at the time have the ability to kind of to hunker down and do.
Yeah. Man, I like that, man. Yeah, because I feel like that's what the next generation needs to continue to hear. Just because, like you said, in this game, like you hear this all the time, young guys be like, man, why I'm not playing? Why I'm not playing? As you just said, the details. How bad do you really want to get the details do you want it as bad as you want to get on the field? Because that's what's keeping you off the field
Yep.
is the details.
I think more than anything, you get to a point where you play high-level college football. You've been playing ball your whole life type of thing. I probably had a mindset of where like I was still interested in learning things, but you still have an attitude about yourself at times where you feel like you know so much or know a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mindset that I had at the time that was probably killer for me because, you can be in the league for 13, 14, 15 years and still be learning and honing in on things. And, it's ever evolving, ever kind of, gradual process to be able to get to the point. And, what I would say to young guys is like, all those times where coaches kind of say certain things and, maybe one of those things you in the ear, out the other type of thing, or like, man, I don't listen to that shit.
Yeah.
Like really every little minor thing, like nobody that's around you from high level college ball to the NFL is telling you anything just to blow smoke up your ass anymore.
Right. Yeah.
They're saying things for a reason to be able to try and help you because maybe they see you're lacking something or, they're just trying to bring out the best in you. So every little thing that you can grasp on is key. Let's talk about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. With the holidays coming up, I'm actually pretty excited. Doing some traveling, hanging out with my friends and family, but let's keep it real. This time of the year can get heavy too. Something that's helped me stay grounded, no matter what season it is therapy. Look, we're all just trying to do our best, and sometimes that's not easy. I get it. If you've been thinking about giving therapy a shot, BetterHelp makes it simple. It helped me learn better ways to cope with stuff and set boundaries, which, as we all know, can come in handy during the family holiday dinners. Between all the travel, planning, family time, and just figuring out holiday logistics, things get overwhelming real quick. Here's what's cool about BetterHelp. It's all online, so you can do it wherever works for you. They'll match you with a licensed therapist, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. And listen, therapy isn't just for people going through major life stuff. It can help anyone level up and be their best self. You want to find some peace this holiday season? Head to betterhelp.com/DAZE to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/days. All right, now let's get back to the show. Looking back at that draft class, just kind of insane list of people who came out of it. Cam, Von Miller, Julio, AJ, Tyrann Smith, JJ Watt, Mark Ingram. Looking back on that now.
Cam Hayward.
Yeah, that draft class, has to rank up there with some of the best.
Yeah, man. You always hear, the best draft class and, that 2011 class always get thrown out there, man. But it's going to come down to see how many Hall of Famers we end up getting. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's always the deciding factor in my opinion. So, the guys that you name had some hell of a careers, and some of them are still going.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely have a chance to go down as one of the best draft classes.
Was this if I think I'm right, was this the first year of the different CBA where the
Yes. So it was the first
the pay
slotted.
was,
Yes.
The pay was slotted. This was the first slotted.
And I was so mad too, because Joe Hayton, that's my boy.
Yeah,
Shout out Joe. My boy Joe signed for like $40 million, right? And I think Joe went a pick after me.
Yeah.
And I ended up signing for like 19.
Yeah.
I was like, it's still good money, but I'm like, God damn it, why couldn't it come out a year?
I think
Sam Bradford,
that Sam Bradford year where he made 60 or 70 million.
62, I think.
62 million right out of the gate. And it kind of, if you talk to guys around the league about it, everybody kind of remembers that year and what it was. And it's always interesting to hear coming in on that year. It's like, damn.
Right. Literally cut in half.
which is crazy. You played 10 seasons with the Cardinals alone. Mm-hmm. How was it getting to Scottsdale, to get into Arizona? Did you like it? Did it feel like home for you? You obviously made it home,
right?
Throughout time, but how was it being there?
Man, I love my time in Arizona, man. Just the weather. Had the opportunity to pick up the game of golf while I was living there. My wife had the opportunity to finish medical school. So we had build my family there, my two girls. So Arizona will always have a close place in my heart, man, because I felt I gave that organization everything that I possibly could to try to capture a trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I love the seasons there because you know what you're going to get each and every day. The winters there are unbelievable.
They're great.
The restaurants, the restaurants are awesome. And you got the best golf course, the best stretch of golf courses, in the country, so that place is just always in the vibe there, the energy there, man. It's just a good place to start, in my opinion, to start your career because you're not anywhere cold. You're somewhere that has nice weather. playing on grass in a controlled climate in the stadium. So I feel like Arizona gave me the ability to play as long as I did, to be honest with you.
Rookie season right away, you kind of just come in and take off and don't really miss much of a beat, you know. How was it playing with guys like Larry Fitch, Adrian Wilson? Did they help you adjust as you got there, obviously?
Yeah, man, 100%, man. Both of those guys, because like I said, those are the two guys who picked me up from the airport right when it was time for me, you know, to come do my press conference with the team. And just Larry, you know, him just giving me the professional side of things on how to handle yourself around the building, how to practice. And Adrian, he was one of those guys that really gave me those leadership skills on how to get guys to just to follow your lead without even saying much. And he really, really helped me understand how to watch film. Yeah, because that guy, he was just unbelievable when it came down to understanding what teams wanted to do and when they wanted to do it. I never seen nothing like it. I'd never forget. I was like, bro, how do you know every play that they're going to run before they play it? He's like, man, this is what I do, man. I break it down by formation, da-da-da-da-da. I say, man, you talking Spanish to me, man. I got to come to your house. So I made it a point, and you can actually, I made it a point to go to his house every Wednesday. And I lived in Gilbert, and he lived in Scottsdale, so that's a far drive. Yeah. That's a 40.
It's a 40 minute
exactly.
Track,
so
for sure.
I used to make that commute every Wednesday to go watch film because I felt like that was going to be something that helped me improve my game and also be a step ahead of my opponent.
You know, a game that comes to mind, you know, for me was that 99 yards to the house to win, you know, an OT against the Rams. Just, you know, what a hell of a play. To be honest,
man, that was a hell of a play. Even going back to that game, that was like the best game I played as a corner because I still was a rookie. And you don't see many guys playing 3 downs on the defensive side of the ball, then going back deep to receive a punt. And I was matched up on Brandon Lloyd. And Brandon Lloyd, I still to this day, he's one of the toughest receiver that I ever had to go up against just because his unorthodox skill and how he was able to catch any and everything. But like I said, that game was like my breakout game as a corner because I had an interception, should have had a couple pass breakups, like really, really feeling myself. And it just came down in the fourth quarter. And because I think I had a couple nice returns early on in that game. And I never forget Coach Spencer, he came to me and was like, Patrick, I think it's that time to be great. Like, I don't care where the ball is. Feel it. I was like, damn, Coach, you giving me the green light like that? He was like, feel it. Because I never forget, we had to come out of a timeout because they had got the ball to like the midfield. And Coach Wisenhunt had called a timeout in that leading into that third down. And Coach Spence, that's when he pulled me to the side. He was like, man, if they punt this ball, I don't care where the ball, feel it. It's time to be special. So that stayed in my head, and we ended up getting the dang on a stop. So they had to punt. And I had, man, 2 of the best vice players that I've ever seen play punt return vice guys because we never viced anyone. They was always one-on-one. Mm-hmm. AJ Jefferson and Richard Marshall. Johnny, I'm telling you, bro, I don't give a damn who you put out there. Wasn't nobody getting past those guys. So those guys was a huge key to my success as well because they gave me the confidence of knowing that the 2 fastest guys that have the ability to get down there first can't get to me. I ain't worrying about these guys. Mm-hmm. So I got the ball. I'm looking down, looking up. I see that they got the guy secured. But then Richard, he dropped one of his guys because if the ball is being kicked beyond the 10-yard line, the vice guys don't want to get hit. So he ended up pushing this guy, but he pushed him just far enough, and he came behind me, and I caught it. The rest is history.
It's you know, on those special teams plays to have a vice guy like that, I think it's so, you know, overlooked probably for the most part. Mm-hmm. But like you said, being able to give you the confidence to be able to know that, like, I'm good here, right? And on the outside, both sides, like, you know, the little things on the special teams, the little details of that really go such a long way.
No doubt about it.
At the end of that year, you're earning your first of 8 Pro Bowl selections, and only rookie to make an all-pro team. What was it like playing in the Pro Bowl that year? Something you probably had always thought about, dreamed of wanting to, get a chance to be recognized as that and do.
That was just an awesome time because that's when it was still in Hawaii. So
the OG way.
Yeah, so it was like a real vacation and a real trip. So my first one brought all my family out, my grandparents. Yeah, my grandparents been to every single one in Hawaii, every single one of them, and 3 of them are not with me anymore. But they love that trip. Like they always look forward to going to the Hawaii Pro Bowl. But man, that time in Hawaii, man, I never forget being around Ray Lewis, Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, the Larrys, Chad Ochocinco. Man, just being in the same room as those guys, I was like, damn, man, like I really made it. Like I really, really made it. And then going into that game, I got an interception in that game. So I'm like, oh, I think I really arrived now. And I'll never forget this either, was James Harrison. He was downstairs because B-Mac, like I said, is my cousin. So I ran across James a couple times. And James was downstairs at the pool doing a karaoke thing. He's down there having a good time, and I'm on my balcony just looking. And they always told me, man, as a rookie, especially if you're a rookie going, don't go by the bar. Don't ever go by the bar. Don't give out your room number. So I kept that in my mind. I was like, I ain't giving out my room number, and I'm not going to the bar. Somehow, some way, James Harrison spots me. I'm on my balcony. He's like, young fella. I'm trying to scoop my chair back. He said, no, I see your ass. Get your ass down here. I was like, oh, damn. He done saw me. And he's on the AFC side, so we shouldn't even be interacting with one another. So I get down there, and I can't remember what liquor they was drinking. But now the tab comes to me. He's like, yeah, take care of that. I'm like, damn, they told me not to come by the dang on bar or give my room number out, but who am I to tell James Harrison no?
I don't know if you can. I don't know if there's many people that can tell that guy
It wasn't
no.
happening.
You go into the next year, ranked 55th in the top 100 players by your peers. The next years after that, you're consistently in the top 20. It had to mean a lot to, be recognized by other players in the game as being, that good, that quick, and it had to feel, amazing to be able to, have that kind of recognition from them.
Yeah, man. Well, Johnny, that's what you play the game for, man, to get that, that validation from your peers. You know what I mean? And that's what the long off season are for. Seeing that hard work pay off. You know what I mean? So that's what I loved about it. Each and every year, that was like an award to my off season. Was my off season good enough to where that I was recognized amongst my peers to be one of the best in the game? And so every year that it came out, it was like I didn't. And honestly, I never cared where I came in the rankings. Yeah. Just to be honest with you, I cared more just about just being a part of the top 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's a very, very small group of guys.
Of course it is. You faced some of the best NFL receivers that you could possibly face. You played a long time. Who do you think was the toughest matchup of your career as you look back on it?
Man, all those guys, man, they all presented their own set of problems, man. Like Calvin, he was a big, strong receiver who was fast as a gazelle, who can catch the ball. Like, you remember that movie in Space Jam when Michael Jordan had to stretch his arm for the last basket?
Of course.
That's Calvin Johnson, man, on the football field. Then you got Julio Jones, who is just a freaking freight train. He's a running back playing receiver. You know what I mean? Then you got AB, who is a guy who you can't touch. Like, he's one of those guys that he's little, but he plays way bigger than his body stature. You know what I mean? So, I know I'm forgetting a bunch of guys. AJ Green, he was just one of those smooth, silky receivers that you really couldn't get like a really solid beat on when he's coming in and out of his breaks. So like I said, all of those guys kind of presented their own different challenges. But the toughest one, man, I'll have to go with Calvin Johnson, just because that guy he presented a coverage that no one never thought that would be possible on the defensive side of the ball. Like, he brought a punt coverage to the defensive side of the ball and still was making plays.
Yep.
And a funny story about that, I'll never forget my first time matching up against him. It was my second year. Coach Horton at the time, he come in the defensive meeting room, and they had played Dallas the week before, and he caught the ball over like 5 different players.
I remember that play.
Yeah, it was crazy. So coach was like, you know what? We're gonna put this vice coverage in too. And at this time, I'm feeling myself. I had maybe like 5 interceptions at that time. I'm like top 5 in the league in picks. I stand up. I'm like, man, coach, man, we don't need that shit, man. Like, we don't need to run that. Like, man, if you've been giving me these matchups this whole year, if I need help, let me come to you and be like, coach, it's one of them days, man. Let's pull out that vice. But let me go out there and down my feet. He goes, Patrick, I'll think about it. And that's how he talks. So I was like, damn. All right, so now we're going to practice. So now I'm trying to have the best practice the whole week. I don't want to give up a catch to give coach the confidence that we won't need any help. So he called it once in practice, and he didn't call it no more. So I'm like, all right, cool. I think it's kind of thrown out. The first third down call in the game, he calls the vice. I said, and I go, and it was incomplete, but I go off on the sideline. I'm like, coach, I'm telling you, we don't need that fucking play. Like, just let me go out there and down my feet. He's like, yeah, all right, Patrick. I'm gonna trust you on this one. And I end up going out there and getting an interception. Had about 3 or 4 pass breakups. Had a really good game. And from that point on, that's why I feel like coach really gained the confidence in me to really let me down my feet.
You know, how would you rate your trash talk game as the years have gone on? You know, and you do much of it?
No,
none of it. Is not.
I'm not a big trash talker. I talk trash on the golf course, but I don't talk trash on the football field for some odd reason. I always just thought that was wasted energy.
Was there any ever somebody that comes to mind of who was always talking trash that you played against?
Steve Smith.
Yep.
Steve Smith, and the older that I got, I started gaining more respect from him. But my rookie year, I played in my first game my rookie year, and Steve let me have it like every single time that I was lined up across him. He was just nonstop talking shit to me the whole game. And I'll never forget Larry and Adrian was warning me going into that game. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, don't say nothing back to him. He's gonna try to get in your ear. He's gonna try to, get it get in your ear to knock your game off. Don't say nothing back to him. And they was not lying. They probably possessed the ball 33 minutes, and Steve was talking every second of those 33 minutes.
Were there some QBs week in and week out that you just knew when you were going up against, you just kind of hated facing that quarterback, you hated facing that guy?
Back then, let me see. Michael Vick for sure. This when he was in Philly. Hated going up against him. And freaking Nick Foles, bro. Like, Nick Foles, he didn't do anything flashy, but he was just a winner. Like, no matter where he went, he was with the Rams at the time. And when he was their starting quarterback, we could never beat him. Anybody else who was their starting quarterback, we'll beat him. But when Nick Foles was inserted as a starting quarterback, he won.
Sneaky good.
Exactly. Same thing when he went over to Philly. So he was one of those guys that I really did hate playing up against back in the day. But then, because I had the opportunity to play against Tom Brady as well, did not have an opportunity to play against Peyton Manning. But I did play against him in the Pro Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers, the 2010 to around the 2016 Aaron Rodgers, he was a rocket man.
Yep.
It wasn't nothing, especially when he had the back shoulder. It was like it was almost unguardable.
Tough.
It was unguardable, man. So hated facing against Aaron Rodgers and freaking Nick Foles, because I only saw Tom Brady once, so we didn't have, those
constant battles.
Exactly. So Aaron Rodgers and Nick Foles back during that time was the quarterbacks I faced.
You previously called Carson Palmer one of your favorite teammates ever. What made him such a standout guy for you?
Man, just an OG, man. He was a team guy. Like, he was one of the guys that literally just cared about everybody else's well-being. Man, he was just so genuine. and wanted the best for everybody that was around him. You know what I mean? He was just one of those guys who, if he said something, we didn't give a damn what it was. We was doing it because Carson, he was one of those guys that we felt that he won't lead you down the wrong rabbit hole. You know what I mean? And
For sure.
when he was in the lineup as our starting quarterback, we was a damn near unstoppable offense. Like damn near putting up 400 or 500 yards a game, averaging 30 points. I believe at one point through a 21 starting period, he only lost like maybe 4 games. He was that good, and having him with Bruce Arians with the big arm that he had and the big plays that Coach Arians want to call, it was a match made in heaven, and it was so great to be a part of that because before it was tough for us to win 5 games in a season. So to finally get an opportunity to feel what winning feels like, it was great, man. And Carson made that ride, man, a lot of fun, man, because he's a jokester. Like, he's one of the guys, man. Like, always want to do some quarterback competition. It was his idea to do, if you lost the quarterback competition, you got to wear a funky outfit, a crazy outfit. And the winners have to choose just things like that to lighten up the mood. Because like you said, it's a long season, man. So you just don't want to be, just the same old status quo each and every day. You want to have something to look forward to, and that was one of the things that we look forward to on Fridays, who lost the quarterback competition and what the hell they was going to be wearing on the plane or on the field at a home game.
I love it. I read you were good for giving out nicknames to your teammates. What do you think your favorite nickname you ever gave out to somebody, and what was the story behind it?
Bobcat is my all-time favorite one. Tony Jefferson, who is he's playing for the LA Chargers right now.
I know T-Jeff.
Yeah, man. It was we was playing the Denver Broncos, the final preseason game, and that's when all the young guys play. This is a rookie year, and so I got to set in, and coach called this fire zone is called Bobcat. It was a strong safety blitz, and Tony could not run that play to save his life. Every time Bobcat was called, he missed his blitz assignment. He just did something else. So I said, you know what? That's your new nickname, Bobcat. So to this day, I still call him Bobcat, and he just died laughing. I'm like, man, because your ass could not get that damn play right, bro.
You guys had some strong playoff runs throughout those times, especially when you're talking about, Bruce Arians and Carson get there. You finally get an offense. You're starting to get to the point where you said you feel like, it enjoyed what winning was like.
Yep.
But the Super Bowl was just like always like just out of reach for you guys. What do you think that kept that team from like really just getting over that hurdle and getting to that point?
Injuries, man. Injuries. Because both playoff runs that we made, Carson he wasn't available for the first one. Then he was available for the second one, but I don't know if people remember, he tore a ligament in his index finger. So he wasn't able to, grip the ball and throw it exactly how you want. And we really loved that matchup because that was a Steve Wilkes defense, which is a quarter system. And we just shredded quarter teams that year, like just ate them apart. So going into that game, we lost Tyrann. He tore his ACL. In the Philadelphia game when we secured the NFC West, Carson tore his ligament in the Green Bay game, hitting his finger on someone's helmet, because he couldn't even throw the ball like past 25 yards in practice. So I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be a long day. Like we can't give up a goddamn thing. And then our wild card was out, and Tyrann, who would pretty much be like our nickel guy, our spy guy, our blitzer. Like, he's just that wild card.
Piece.
Yeah, he's just that wild card, and we didn't have that. We did not have another guy that can fill that void, because I'm going to tell you something else that's crazy. That year, we only dressed 7 DBs, which is unheard of.
That's crazy.
They was counting Tyrann as like 3 players. So they accounted him for like a corner, a nickelback, and a safety. So in their mind, we had 10 DBs. But on paper,
there was only
we had
7.
So we was called the Magnificent 7 that year. But injuries, man, they really, really hindered us for really making a significant run.
You talk a little bit about the pressure that comes along with, being one of the best players in the league and needing to stay there. I know you feel like you have that drive and that, within you to keep striving and keep wanting to stay at that level for a long time. Do you feel pressure that came along with that?
No, because I embraced that. That's why I play the game, to be the best, be recognized as the best, and also continue to work on your craft each and every year. Like, I never wanted to be the same person from last year. Like, I wanted to find ways to be better than last year, because hell, you never know what the outcome of that can be. Because my goal was to always control what I can control and do what I can do as an individual to be remembered, and that's going into Canton.
Yep.
That's a very, very small group.
Yep.
So that's why for me it was important, and it was never pressure to stay at the top of my game, because that's something I wanted. You know what I mean? So it was never any pressure.
Arizona kind of ends. You sign with the Vikings after that.
Mm-hmm.
You change from your number from 21 back to 7.
Yeah.
Was that a signal to kind of everybody that going back to, if this is a fresh start, this is a new Pat.
Yeah.
This is did it help with the transition a little bit too?
It did, man. It did. The 7, wearing number 7 in the NFL, that's something that I always wanted to happen, and that was the first year that we was the NFL
let them do single-digit numbers.
So when I heard that, it was a perfect opportunity for me to go back into like my old same colors, to rock number 7, purple and yellow, and it was an awesome feeling, because for me it felt like I felt reborn, man. Like, to be honest with you, when I got to Minnesota and have an opportunity to wear number 7, it's just like a new burst of energy was inside of me, man, and it showed when I was there. The 2 years, having some very memorable games in Buffalo, having 2 picks there, and having the game in against the Giants, the Colts having that miraculous comeback from being down 33-3 in halftime. So that number 7 will always be special to me, and every time I have it on, just something good always happens.
Sure. What was it about Minnesota and Coach Zimmer that made it feel like that was the best spot for you and somewhere you wanted to go?
I just thought that Coach Zimmer had the same mindset that I had as a cornerback, as far as being up in your face, playing bump and run, a lot of zero coverages, putting pressure on the quarterback to get the ball out of his hand quicker. So I wanted to play for him, and just seeing the history that he had with cornerbacks, I wanted to be a part of that, being with Terrence Newman, Dion, all the guys out of Jonathan Joseph, so the guys that he was able to coach, the list was remarkable, and I thought it would be awesome to have an opportunity to team up with Coach Zim. And the time that we had I know it was short, but we had some really, really good conversations just about ball, on how he saw press techniques evolve into today's game, how he had stories on how Dion used to practice on different motor skills and things like that. His focal point when he was looking at receivers, when he was in his press position, so just things like that, and have an opportunity.
Yeah, that's got to be something that kind of like revitalizes you a little bit when you've been around the game for so long, and then you get around a coach like that who still has the ability of, being around and in the league for so long and be able to give you different, still learning, right? Still, grasping every little single thing that you can about the game. And it's, when you see a coach like that who really knows the nuances and the ins and outs, even at a later point in your career, has to really stick with you for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I'm a guy that always wants to learn. Like, I want to know what I can do better or how I can get better, because that's how you last in this game, man.
It's ever changing, ever evolving.
No doubt about it.
So you eventually go on 2023. You sign with Pittsburgh. Coach Tomlin, historic franchise. What was your mindset going into that season, and what they kind of tell your role was going to be as you got there?
Man, it was very interesting going into that season, because I was going to be doing something I never done before my NFL career, and that's going to be playing almost every position in the back end.
Yep.
And that's the first thing that Coach Tomlin told me when I signed there. He's like, man, I'm gonna be using you all over the football field, because we had a young team at the time, and those guys are growing up very well, about the season that they're having right now. But he was like, man, I just want to lean on you to really show these guys how to work, what it means to be interchangeable, what it means to know every position on the field, because you never know, when you may be needed. So going into that season, man, I was just really, really excited because now I was going to be doing something I'd never done before. So the game planning each and every week, I knew it was going to be something different. Like, I felt like Tyrann. Like, it was the first time I felt like Tyrann. Like, all right, they had blitzes in for me. I was at the nickel. I was at the penny. I was at the safety. It was really, really cool to really have an opportunity to explore other positions on the field. It was so much fun, Johnny. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. It was fun having the ability to finally, because I always knew what everybody did.
Yeah. But to actually be out there,
yes,
and
now making checks and telling guys to do this and do that. That was just a blast.
How was it being with Coach Tomlin? And obviously, what are your thoughts on him as a coach?
Man, he's the best I've ever been around, man. Just his attitude towards football. And that's why you guys see the results that you see each and every year, regardless who is the quarterback, regardless who is on the football team.
Yeah.
Like, he is going to put together a competitive, physical, well-coached football team. And I just never forget, man, just some of the things he used to say in his team meeting. And being in the league for so long, it was a bunch of things that I never, we all understand football, but when you watch it on tape, like, damn, why they keep going to the pylon, or why they keep doing this? And coach philosophy was always protect the front pylon, because that's the easiest throw for teams. So I'm in year 13. I'm like, God damn, like, I never heard another coach say that before. Like, protect the pylon. They always just say protect the goal line. You know what I mean? But then as I started to watch more football, and people can start watching this as well, the ball typically is thrown outside to the pylons. It's very rare that the ball is thrown in the middle of the field. So I'm like, damn, I got that in the memory bank now. So just things like that stuck with me, man. Just his sayings, make the routine plays routinely, just things like that. And the way he's able to get his team geared up each and every week it speaks volumes.
How do you feel about the young guys they have on that defense right now too? Yeah. Obviously some studs, man. Some hell of a players.
Herbig, obviously Joey, Keanu, Benton, who's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he's getting the opportunity to learn from one of the best in Cam Hayward, and being with Joey last year, I had the opportunity to watch him, literally watch his confidence grow each and every week, and it was so heartwarming to see him take on those challenges, and also embracing the challenges, because that was me, man, as a rookie. So it was so cool giving him little nuggets on how to study for receivers, on things to look for when he's watching film, like the hand signals, not getting into your stance too early because the quarterback may be communicating with the receiver, and you may be getting a little nugget off him then by watching film and seeing how guys communicate. So that was really, really cool to be with someone finally that I felt that had the same abilities that I had and also the same opportunity that I had. So I wanted to lean on him as much as I could so he can be successful in his career as well.
You felt like you had a good year there and then ended up being released. Was that something you were blindsided by or something you kind of knew that was coming? Or
Man, I knew it would be a cap casualty. I was blindsided by the release. I was kind of honestly preparing for, a pay cut, to be quite honest with you, because I wanted to, finish my 2 years there and, not finish as a Steeler, but finish my career in a Pittsburgh uniform. And I technically did that, but I wanted to fulfill the 2 years. So I kind of figured that I would be, a cap casualty. So I was expecting more of a, hey, let's talk about these numbers versus we're going to be moving on. So, but that's business. There's no hard feelings because at least we had conversations, man, and the Rooney family and Coach Tomlin and Omar, man, they just handle business the right way, and I couldn't do nothing but respect that. And Coach Tomlin said, man, the door may be still open, so if something end up coming up, someone get hurt, we'll keep you in mind. So, but right now, my mind is not on football. Yeah,
that was my next question. You still ever thinking about playing at some point? It's only been a year since you haven't, but you think that's something, or is it family time? And
man, it's been mainly family time for me. I have still been training. Yeah. We had a couple calls about 2 weeks ago, but wasn't making sense to me. So we'll see where it goes, but probably I'll give it to maybe to the playoffs. Okay. See what happens.
Just give it give it through the rest of the year and
see what happens. But I am keeping the body in shape for if that day do come, I'll be ready to roll.
I mean, it's got to be a great transition and a great shift for the first time, like you were saying earlier, to be able to spend that time with your family, still keep, stay in shape, see if something works out and if something happens. But, man, it sounds like you're dialed in on that side of life now and having a good time with it.
I am, man. And it's cool because, you have an opportunity to watch the girls grow, like literally watch them grow now versus leaving in the morning, coming back home, they're asleep or they're eating dinner. But now I have an opportunity to take them to dance, take them to cheer, take them to school every day, pick them up from school every day. It's like moments like that. Like this year, it was my first time ever taking them to school on the first day of school. You know what I mean? And my kids, it's like, and my daughters actually brought it. It was like, Daddy, this is the first time that you're taking us to school on the first day. I was like, I guess you're right. So it's just things like that they're looking forward to now. Like even when I'm picking them up from school, having little snacks in the back seat, chips or whatever they request before I drop them off. It's just cool being a Uber dad now.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, but broadcasting something you're looking into doing and being around the media side of the game a little bit.
Yeah, man, that's my goal. I want to continue to be around the game and talk about the game and be able to fill people in and give them the insight that can help them enjoy the games even better. You know what I mean? I experienced a lot. I saw a lot. I feel I know a lot about the game, so I want to be able to express that and give that to some viewers.
Where do you put yourself on a list of all-time defensive backs?
Where do I put myself?
And who else do you think you have in there?
Is it just a top five?
Yeah, top five.
Top five. Got to go Prime number one, man. He's a GOAT. Prime. I go Charles Woodson. I go Darrell. I will go myself. And, Champ Bailey. You got to put Champ in there.
Legend.
Yeah, got to put Champ in there. Do you think it's good to have rookie quarterbacks be day one starters, or do you think it's good to allow them to learn what they're about to get themselves into?
That's a good question, man. I think it's probably, a little bit of different for every single situation and scenario. But, I think being able to sit for a little while and be able to learn the game and how it goes is definitely beneficial. I felt like me, obviously, sitting and being able to take some time, even going into my second year, I was still really learning a lot about protections and how things were going. Like, if you don't do that in college and you're not asked to do that, it took me 4 weeks to really figure out, pointing a mic and doing the right thing in the run game and really learning all that stuff. So I think being able to sit and take some time to really, figure out what it is. But, there's also something to be said about throwing guys into the fire and kind of letting them figure it out. But, I think it's always probably a little nicer to be able to sit and take some time and be able to learn.
So will you, I speak on Jaden Daniels as an example. So he's a guy that's lighting up the league right now, right? Do you think it's more to the style that he's playing, because he's pretty much playing the same football that he played in college? So you think it's more of an offensive coordinator quarterback marriage? Because it's real big trying to change someone whole playing style if they've never done it before.
I think they've got a good situation and a good matchup there between, Coach Cliff Kingsbury and him. I played for Cliff, know him really, really well, and that was his guy going into it. And I think, as you get a guy who believes in you like that, being able to make sure that they're not going to change you, that we're going to, that's a big thing in the league. Coaches who adapt their offense to around what you do best. When you put all that money and all that high draft pick into a quarterback, you got to make it work. So to be able to shape your offense around what a guy does best, rather than have them come in and do something that they're not accustomed to or not used to it. I think what we're seeing right now is a good marriage of, hey, this is what you did really well. This is why you won a Heisman. This is why we're bringing you here. We're not going to put you under center all the time and have you doing a different style of offense and something that you've known. So I think it does take, this is kind of like what you were talking about with Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians, when you get that quarterback offensive coordinator marriage that goes down and it works, you gotta enjoy it and appreciate it.
No doubt about it.
It's official. The holidays are around the corner. That means lights, gifts, and get-togethers. So give the gift to Mando. I can think of a few friends who would appreciate it. Not that they smell or anything, but it's way better than whatever they're using now. So why is Mando the MVP? It's clinically proven, 72-hour odor control. It's safe for the whole body, and it stops odor before it starts. Plus, you can choose from 3 different formats. Invisible spray for super easy application, solid stick, which is a familiar favorite, and invisible cream, which rubs in like lotion. My go-to is definitely the stick, but I love using the spray or cream when I'm trying to get up my hygiene game. Plus, Mando is available in 4 cologne quality scents. Bourbon leather is sweet and sophisticated, Mount Fuji smells fresh and woodsy, and there's also Pro Sport and Clover Woods. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, since it's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers or to secure some last-minute stocking stuffers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Johnny at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Don't let the meat sweats get you this holiday season. Your family and friends will thank you. I'm curious how you compare to your former teammates, Larry Fitz and Justin Jefferson, 2 guys that are obviously, elite receivers.
Yeah. I mean, both of those guys are super elite, and I was very blessed to play with both of them, man, because both of them are going to go down as, the two of the best to ever play the game. Justin just broke another record, the most yards in the first 5 years. But having the opportunity to be beside them and watch both of them work, the pedigree that both of those guys have, it's no secret or no surprise why they do what they do on Sundays. Because my first time being at practice with Fitz, every pass I seen him catch, he runs to the end zone. Like every single pass that I see. He can be on the ground, he catch on the ground, he getting up, running to the end zone. He can catch it out of bounds, he's going to run to the end zone. And just seeing that from him, Justin really don't run to the end zone every time, but for the most part, just seeing how he's able to work on his craft, on his releases, working on his getting in and out of his breaks, making everything kind of look the same. So that was a pleasure to watch both of those guys like really hone in on their game and force other guys to follow them.
Going back to the Cardinals for a second, you played with Kyler, when he was a rookie. What's your take on him now? And obviously watching him still have a hell of a year this year, obviously.
Man, it's great to see the steps that he's been taking, from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 to year 4, and especially coming off the injury.
Yep.
So it's remarkable seeing the leadership role that he is finally embracing. You can just tell that he's embracing the leadership role. And guys, the team is responding a lot different now. And if he can continue playing the way that he's playing, this is a dangerous football team.
Yep.
It's a dangerous, strappy.
They're definitely making some noise out there in the
West. Yeah, man, they're
for sure.
A dangerous, feisty football team. So, but it's all going to come down to him. As well as he. And I take that back. As long as he's in the lineup, they're going to be a challenging football team.
Who do you think right now in the league? Who do you think the best corner going right now in the league?
Best corner going right now is either between Derek Stingley and Pat Surtain III.
Surtain's pretty locked down right now. He's playing some good ball.
And just because I love the style that they play with. Those are guys that's not afraid to get in the receivers' faces, getting at the line of scrimmage.
You feel the cornerback positions just evolved a little bit, changed a little bit since when you came in?
Yeah, just because offenses have evolved a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not the same generic offenses to where guys are just lining up outside the numbers. You know what I mean? It's not the same anymore. And if you go back and if guys really do a deep dive of it, when teams was doing that, that's when, you had the Durrells, myself, Richard, even Aqib Talib. Like if you had a receiver outside the numbers, it was a very slim chance they was going to catch the football.
Yep.
So then teams started condensing the sets.
Yep.
And what that did was back the cornerback up. You know what I mean? So, and you just starting to see that more and more now, all these motions. Bunches. You know what I mean? They're backing, they're finding ways to get hands off of the receivers. And I think that's what's making it tougher to see marquee matchups, because offenses are now smart enough to move guys around, condense sets to make it harder for DBs to get their hands on the receiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big – there's nothing like, being in a quarterback position, you take a drop and you got an outside receiver who's just hemmed up on the line of scrimmage. Exactly. Your number one read right away is just couldn't be more dead. So, for us on the offensive side of the ball, it has changed to be able to keep guys like you and some of these other good corners just hands off and away.
Yep.
Outside of football, I know you're a big golf guy. We ran into each other on the links a couple times, we've been golfing much lately, hitting new courses, and how's the handicap looking?
Man, I'm a 5. I love golfing. Still to this day. Hell, like you said, I knew we ran into the course a bunch, and that was during the season. I was out there a bunch. So now I'm not out there as much because I have a podcast during the day, a radio hit on Sirius on Wednesdays. And then my wife has a Pilates gym, so I probably play maybe like 2 times a week now. So, but I still love the game. But I probably hit balls every day, like in my backyard or something.
Just steady, just grinding it a little bit, trying to stay around it.
Yep.
What do you think your favorite course was in Scottsdale? I think it's Silverleaf's really it's tough to beat.
Silverleaf is hard to beat, man. Silverleaf is tough to beat. Just the hang, ever since Ben took over, the courses just became that much nicer with the track man on the range. You got the bar, you got the hang there. The halfway houses have come a long way. The views, just the course itself, man, is always in immaculate shape. So Silverleaf is a hard one to beat.
Well, man, more than anything, bro, you've been a legend on the field. You've always been great to me. So more than anything, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, coming out here to sit down, chop it up, tell a little bit about your story. Obviously, wish you nothing but the best moving forward, whether it's getting back on the field, broadcasting, whatever it may be, or just being a dad and raising your kids. So hopefully we'll get a chance to cross paths down the road.
Yes, sir.
Let's be real. I hate wearing dress pants. I'd much rather be comfortable. Luckily, Public Rec's Dealmaker Pant gives you the comfort of sweatpants with the look and fit of jeans. Whether you're clocking in at the office or teeing off on the golf course, these pants have you covered. With their formal 5-pocket style and workday fabric that's both wind and water resistant, no matter what the weather throws your way, the Dealmaker Pant is ready for action. Clean, classic, and your new go-to for every day. Stay comfortable without compromising style. Because this Public Rec's Dealmaker Pants, you really can have it all. And for a limited time, our listeners get 20% off their entire order with code Johnny at publicrec.com. That's 20% off with code Johnny at publicrec.com. I'm pumped about my new waffle knit hoodie, especially as it gets colder. It's made with thermal waffle knit fabric that provides warmth without bulk. Plus, check these out. I got myself the Dealmaker Pants in black. They're made from a lightweight and highly breathable fabric and so comfortable. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they also have a huge selection of high quality, everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when they use code Johnny at checkout. That's 20% off with code Johnny at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.